In the last year, I've just installed LED lighting from GE and their immersion lighting, and I tell you, the difference aesthetically as well as operationally is really, really great. I took a lot of retailers will take what we call the low-hanging fruit first. So they'll do the lights, they'll do the ECM fans, night curtains, that sort of thing. I went and did it the other way around. I did a great big huge project, got the huge savings right up front, and now I've been reinvesting those savings as we go along. So my current project is to do the LED lighting from GE, and I'm really happy with the look of them. The customers are commenting how great the packaging of the products look in those cases, and I'm confident we're going to see operational savings from them as well. Yeah, I have a Hussman protocol system. It's unusual, I guess, in that, for the size of store that I have, being 10,000 square feet, to have invested in a protocol system. I had somebody comment to me that there aren't a lot of stores my size that have made that type of decision. But when you're tight for space and you haven't got a lot of square footage, it's about the size of a pallet is the footprint of it. So it just sits in the one back corner of my warehouse, and it operates the entire store with the exception of 2 cases. There wasn't quite enough capacity, and it wasn't worth it getting a second one. So we had to do 2 remote compressors, but then the protocol does the rest of the job for us. As opposed to a traditional system where you'd have individual remote compressors for each case, with separate lines run out to each case, this operates the entire store on a loop. And there's electronic valves that open and close to allow just the right amount of Freon to go into the case to do the job. And each of those cases are monitored every 3 minutes by a probe that's in there, which tells them the CPC controls how much to open and close those cases. Also staggers the defrost, so you've got consistency in how the defrost cycles are operating in your store, which obviously you want to try to avoid peak loads and try to level things out if you're on a demand meter like most of us are. So it's worked really, really well for us in our store. I mean, I've certainly told a lot of other retailers my size, and this is some of the technology you want to look at. And the extra benefit to it is that because you've got all your hot gas from your low temp all concentrated through one line, when it comes back, what we actually did is we had a custom coil built. It cost me, it was $1,500 to build the coil. We placed it in the cold air return of our HVAC system. So we're stripping that heat off of the low temp, off the hot gas coming back to the compressor. So before it goes to the rooftop condenser to be condensed, we're stripping that heat off and dumping it into the store. So we just leave the fans on the HVAC on all the time, so the fans are always running. So even when the thermostat's not calling for gas, we have some ambient heat going into the store, which obviously then requires less propane. So that's been probably the biggest savings is how we the biggest savings is how we addressed the heat reclaim systems in the store, because most people have concentrated all their remote compressors in a room and then they try to suck that air out, and you don't have that with a protocol.
Excellent. And you're using R404 refrigerant?
Yeah, it's R404. I mean, today, it was 2008, so that was the gold standard at the time. And there's a lot of movement now towards CO2. We have a responsibility too as retailers to consider the impact of the resources that we use. And Freon is a very refrigerants are a very have heavy impact in their manufacture, and so as a result, you do have situations where 1 or 2 leaks is sometimes 30% of your carbon output, and for the year. And so the nice thing about CO2 is, if you lose CO2, you just recharge with CO2. There's not the effect of the Freon. So we have to be very careful in how we manage that. But a good installer that they take their time and do a really good install for you, you can avoid a lot of those leaks. And we have yet to have a leak on our protocol system. And having the proper monitors in place, refrigerant leak monitors, so that if you do have, and we have had, they've all been false alarms, but if you do have it go off, you get your contractor in right away to repair the leak before it becomes a situation where you have to recharge your system.
Not having a leak in I think you said 3 years.
Yeah.
That's really remarkable, and I think only the very best supermarket operators can make that claim. That's really a tremendous accomplishment.
Yeah, well, thanks. It's something that we're very proud of. And Hamilton Smith, my contractor. I can't say enough for the job that Pat Rainey and his team did. And it's all about hiring the right people and being committed to getting the job done right.